Fendi is one of the loudest names in the history of Italian fashion. Fendi has always managed to stand out, to be unlike any other brand, both in the very beginning of the fashion house's timeline and now, when Fendi outfits are worn by high-profile celebrities, and all the Fendi accessories names have an "it" prefix.
The beauty of Fendi, I think, that has a real heritage, is tradition, but with always an innovation.
Roman glamour, craftsmanship.
They always try to push the limits, and that keeps them on the edge all the time.
It's pure creativity.
It's creative chic.
Fendi's metamorphosis is, changing all the time, searching for new ways. That is Fendi. It's experimental.
Today, the fashion house can boast famous supporters from all over the world. The list includes Rihanna and Elisa Sidnawi.
Fendi is a very fun kind of brand, but it also has the power to make you feel very confident.
In 1925, Adele and Edoardo Fendi, a married couple, opened a small fur and leather goods shop. Since then, the name Fendi is known to every Italian fashionista.
The key elements of Fendi are furs. The house is known for being very innovative, using all different sorts of skins and treating them in really special ways.
This modest family shop has gradually escalated to a big company that was headed by 5 Fendi sisters: Paola, Carla, Anna, Franca, and Alda.
I love the famous Fendi sisters. I love this real strength with iconic female creative women, and I think that the history of the Fendi family really represents that.
The whole Fendi sisters, there's a kind of a family sense of fashion that is communicated from season to season, and I find that they manage to blend modernity with this culture.
In the mid-60s, Fendi Fashion House engaged Karl Lagerfeld, a novice designer, in a collaboration. His fresh energy and modern view on fashion has changed the DNA of the fashion house dramatically.
Karl Lagerfeld always understands luxury, and he has so much passion and excitement for fashion that he instills that into every collection he does.
Perfect marriage. Karl and Fendi, a perfect marriage.
Karl has turned a traditional fur coat into a super trendy piece. From now on, Fendi is associated with stylish, ultralight outfits made of fur and leather.
Fur is treated in a way people never treated fur before, but only Fendi can do that. The same period was marked by the creation of the famous Fendi logo, 2 F letters, one of which is turned upside down. The idea was suggested by Karl Lagerfeld. Fun furs, that's what Fendi logo stands for.
I admire the designer's way of experimenting with fur.
Matching fur with some other materials, cutting it into pieces, treating it like a fabric, painting it in different colors. No one has dared to do it before Karl Lagerfeld did. Every fashionista knows the best fur coats can be found at Fendi.
Fur can be quite statues, It's because they're very costly. But Fendi's always approached that in a very unconventional way, turning it upside down, inside out, playing with colors.
Lots of companies work with leather, but very few work with fur like Fendi.
The lightest furs is Fendi, the most colorful, and at the same time the most wearable.
It takes Fendi specialists no less than 200 hours to create such a masterpiece, while the fashion house artisans, headed by Karl Lagerfeld, have been passionately transforming fur into art objects. A new generation has grown up in the Fendi family. In 1994, Silvia Venturini Fendi becomes the creative director of menswear and accessory lines of the fashion house.
We think that the real luxury is in ideas more than in garments, and I think that it's important to show the Italian skills of masterpiece in workmanship.
Together, Sylvia and Karl Lagerfeld create the modern history of the Fendi fashion house. The unique creative duo is known all over the world. They are talked about, they are taken after.
Fendi is a great Italian brand. I believe Karl Lagerfeld and Silvia Venturini Fendi are a perfect designer team.
Venturini Fendi è veramente un mix straordinario.
When tradition meets the future, Fendi style is born.
They have been one of the first ones who have tried to, put fashion in a technological context and marrying luxury with innovation.
Their approach is both traditional and futuristic.
Innovation and fun fashion.
Impeccable quality, rich materials, and a perfect sense of timing. These are the main ingredients of the Italian brand's philosophy.
DNA of Fendi is difficult to describe. It's made of so many components. I will say that it's high quality and traditional material.
In 1997, Silvia Venturini Fendi created the baguette bag.
Baguette is a bag that has been treated like a garment.
This little bag, which can be carried under your arm like a French baguette, has won everyone's hearts. Now it is issued in more than 6,000 versions. Colors and materials differ, some of them are really unusual. A bag is an accessory a modern man cannot do without. One cannot argue with that, as it's exactly what Silvia Venturini Fendi thinks.
The bag is very important because men now don't want to fill their pockets. They are more body conscious. They understood that it's not practical to have things on you.
The philosophy of the fashion house implicates creating not just clothes and accessories, but real art objects. Unforgettable looks that Fendi designs for the cinema industry are a perfect proof. Acknowledged classics of this art field and the best modern directors opt for Fendi when aiming at enhancing the main hero's characters. Modern art is another inspiration source of Fendi. Guests of Design Miami exhibition had a chance to appreciate an art experiment by Fendi. Several locations created by famous painters and architects displayed a link between the history of the Italian fashion house and its future.
When you hear Karl Lagerfeld talk about the fact that he will only make fur in Italy and not in Paris, I think you start to understand that we're really talking about the most incredible workmanship and the most incredible artisans in the world.
Everything that Fendi designers give a touch showcases a brilliant mix of tradition and innovation. The collection's presentations are a perfect example. People dream of seeing a show by Karl Lagerfeld and Silvia Venturini Fendi. Every presentation is an enchanting performance. Like the show on the Great Wall of China, for instance, fashion experts stood transfixed. Not only them, in fact. That show has become a proverbial story. 88 models wearing impeccable outfits were walking the longest catwalk in the fashion history. Only Maestro Karl could invent a thing like this.
When you work on it, you don't ask yourself so many questions. You do something, but you have to wait for the last minute to see it all together on the runway. And apparently it worked. I'm always the most surprised.
And we're at Fendi backstage in Milano.
Who possesses indisputable authority in the fashion industry? If we consider glamorous media, then it's Anna Wintour, the Vogue SA editor-in-chief. This time, her impeccable bob and her dark sunglasses were spotted at Fendi backstage. Karl Lagerfeld was eager to welcome the famous guest and show her the Spring 2010 collection.
It's all about playing with clothes. It's about unfinished clothes. They look unfinished, but they were finished first and then destroyed after.
Poetry, lightness and femininity, these are the three components of the new Fendi woman look.
Lightness and secret whispered luxury.
Every outfit calls for experiments. They can be combined in various ways. The same is true for the bags. You can transform every accessory the way you like. One cannot imagine Fendi Fashion House without experiment and innovation, but the historic codes of the brand are even harder to forget. Fur is Fendi, Fendi is fur. This famous quotation by Karl Lagerfeld describes the Fall-Winter 2010-11 collection perfectly.
The inspiration, there were several inspirations. The inspiration of terms of proportion, clothes, materials, use of fur.
The designer treats fur nicely and delicately. He makes it look super trendy.
The collection is very, I should say, strong and feminine at the same time.
It's classy, but it's with fantasy.
It's a new season and Karl Lagerfeld is surrounded by journalists and fashion experts again. Everyone wonders what the maestro has prepared this time.
Very graphic shape, mix of materials and the colors of wild orchids.
The collection is thought out to the last detail, or the looks are united by a concept which could be described as impeccability by Fendi.
It's a kind of total look of one spirit, what I call the spirit of Fendi.
Fur and leather, which the fashion house has always been famous for, acquire a militaristic touch this time.
These women look like goddess, look like some from very Italian Renaissance, like Diane hunting.
Modern Valkyries are almost ready to walk the runway.
And we're backstage at Fendi. As you can see, it's like really crazy and hectic because we're about to start the show.
The photographers are doing their best to capture Fendi's Spring-Summer 2013 woman's look. Cara Delevingne, Karl Lagerfeld's muse, is trying on a Roman goddess look with a modern twist. The futuristic makeup works for her. Fendi logo dominates the collection, or more precisely, the garments. Huge F letters make us think of constructivist poster paintings. It seems like this season, Fendi Woman has many plans ahead, including taking up some art history courses. What else should we learn about Fendi Woman? She welcomes changes, she loves to experiment. She has a very chic manner of mixing classics and avant-garde.
There is not one Fendi woman, there are always new generation of new Fendi women. So, you know, we propose, women are not dolls you dress. Women are clever people who buy what they want to wear and what is right for them, their lifestyle and their budget.
It doesn't matter what season it is, Fendi Woman is always able to amaze and surprise, just like this time.
I heard from Karl's words that it was one of his favorite shows for Fendi so far, so I think I got pretty lucky. The whole iconization of fur and of leather was, which are the historical métiers of Fendi.
One should meet fall and winter fully armed, dressed in fur from head to toe. At least that's what Karl Lagerfeld believes.
It's a very simple braid from the top to the bottom, and we're fixing a piece of fox fur on the top.
It's fur, lots of fur. There's fur in the hair. All the girls have fur mohawks. There's fur on the bags, the accessories, all the shoes.
The maestro has a great intuition which helped him predicting the trends of literally several months to follow. Can these be wigs, short haircuts, dark sunglasses, models walking the runway that looks more like a conveyor belt? Karl Lagerfeld has done his best to draw the guests' attention to the Spring-Summer 2014 collection by Fendi, and it was surely worth looking at. Strict geometric shapes, pure lines mixed with organza and a pulpy color palette. It was a perfect balance between modern trends and tailoring tradition. The Fall-Winter 2013-14 menswear collection by Silvia Venturini Fendi showcases a mix of tradition and high technology.
It's a very Fendi collection by the use of fur, of course, and also by the use of avant-garde and technological way of workmanship.
It's a perfect, sophisticated wardrobe for a modern gentleman. By the way, gentlemen admire Fendi collection.
The clothes are really elegant and for the gentleman.
The collection is really fantastic.
Collection is inspired very much by urban life, but also by nature.
Silvia Venturini Fendi managed to create a functional men's wardrobe. Her vast experience in accessory design, where every detail matters, helps the creative director to invent outfits that make a modern man feel really comfortable. Even if he finds himself in a hot desert, tons of sand on the runway and models wearing some light suits, Fendi Fashion House has managed to surprise the fashion community once again, not only with this setting of course. This summer, Fendi men opts for a mix of sports and classics. Is it a new word in men's fashion? We'll see. Fendi Fashion House has faced several dramatic DNA changes throughout its existence. One thing remains unaltered: the designer's willingness to create looks in the spirit of the time or even ahead of it, and then show them on the runway. Fendi creators always skip shortcuts. No references to the past, only craftsmanship and ability to predict the trends of the next season. That's how Spring-Summer 2015 looks are born.
Fendi is true luxury.
It has to be the fur and the leather, and all the craftsmanship of that, and Rome as well.
They certainly managed to keep up with the times. It's not all about Visconti.
In the end of the show, Carl and Silver appeared on the runway. Year in, year out, the famous creative duo surprises and inspires the fashion community. How do they do that? Easily, and always with the use of innovative technologies. The new Fendi show will be broadcast by flying drones. Have you ever seen anything like that?
Drone flying above the head of the mannequin, so you're going to see
What's flying
it the first time.
I love the idea to put fresh flowers on the fur. And my inspiration for that was the famous song of Billie Holiday, where she sings with her unique voice, "He gave me violets for my fur." You know, it will not last, and nothing is more, emotionally strong than thing who will not last.
Here's another scoop. Cara Delevingne, Karl Lagerfeld's favorite model, will open the show. She has concluded a contract with Fendi, which implicates this will be her only show at Milan Fashion Week. Cara's outfit sets the mood of the whole collection. Impeccable work with fur and an ironic accessory, which actually is a mini copy of Karl Lagerfeld. Could anyone else make a case for himself so gorgeously? And here's another magnificent surprise by Fendi Fashion House, the first Haute Fur collection shown at Paris Fashion Week. Couture fur sounds like a loud statement which only Fendi and Karl Lagerfeld can dare to make. Fur flowers that looked exactly like the real ones were the main embellishment of the collection. Due to Karl Lagerfeld's fantasy, models became some magic birds. Rich fur and leather was their feathering. Let's omit the price of these fur coats and discover the new season instead. Journalists, editors, fashion experts and bloggers consider Fendi show to be one of the major events of Milan Fashion Week. Why? Just because Karl can never disappoint.
I love all the bright red, all the smocking and all the Victorian sleeves. It just gave it a real modernity with a romantic spirit. Really fun collection at Fendi.
It was amazing, brilliant, and Karen Elson was superb.
I like very much the leather dresses.
It was beautiful. Again, they always do one of the most beautiful collections of Milan Fashion Week.
The last look, the leather dress, made us think of Joan of Arc. Audacious, strong and independent, that's what a modern woman, according to Fendi, is like.
We wanted to really do a collection that was mixing romance, but in a new way.
I like all the shoes with ruffles, and of course, I like all the furs with the stripes, you know, and the coat that Mika was wearing in the end, I thought was very spectacular.
I'm wearing super glitter lips.
Oh, I love the designs. I'm wearing a see-through skirt.
For spring-summer 2017, Silvia Venturini Fendi and Karl Lagerfeld opted for a modern Marie Antoinette look. If the French queen lived nowadays, she'd certainly wear weightless chiffon gowns and sneakers.
The distance between Marie Antoinette and a Williams sister playing tennis is a very, very long way. I think the concept made for a very spectacular clothes.
Sam McKnight, the hairstylist, has made the girls look like anime characters.
The look at Fendi is inspired by manga cartoons, so we've got some little pigtails and ponytails.
Rich fabrics and exuberant embellishments are a reference to Rococo style. Stripe is one of the most iconic Fendi prints.
I like the aprons worn over pants.
Girl's Secret, a short movie by Fendi, reveals the secrets of a modern Marie Antoinette. She has a busy schedule, every day is full of interesting events, and Fendi dress code is a must. While women get dressed, men relax. Cozy aristocratic style by Fendi Fashion House.
It's a collection that is very much inspired by interiors. So loungewear, homeware, opposed to streetwear.
Silvia Venturini Fendi decided to make the daily routine of a modern man a bit sweeter. A set of variations on the bathrobe and pajamas theme can be seen on the runway, plus fur coats that the fashion house artisans have dedicated many days to.
It's humoristic, chic, luxurious.
I thought it was a very expertly done show that highlighted all the codes of the house, but at the same time was a bit surprising and fresh.
Fendi Fashion House is moving to new headquarters, the Palace of Italian Civilization. The building, created in 1937, is one of the symbols of Italy. Painter Giorgio de Chirico and director Federico Fellini were inspired by its unique architecture. Roman citizens call the palace a square coliseum due to its pure geometric lines. It's a great honor for Fendi to be able to design in this unbelievable location. Everyone knows that Fendi Fashion House is madly in love with Rome.
Fendi style is historic, is artisanal. It belongs to Rome. It's a little bit the history of Rome.
In 2015, the famous Trevi Fountain was finally opened after the restoration work. Money for the acknowledged Temple of Architecture renewal was procured by Fendi Fashion House.
In 2012, we restored the Trevi Fountain, but and we were thinking, oh my God, let's can you imagine if one day we could do a show here?
Fendi celebrates its birthday. It's Tegger's belief that the Italian fashion house is 90 years old already.
19 years old, it's unbelievable.
Karl Lagerfeld and Silvia Venturini Fendi threw an epic show in the heart of the Italian capital.
The inspiration is in the same time Rome, and then there is a kind of fairy tale story, because the theme of the collection is legends and fairy tales.
The collection, called Legends and Fairy Tales, really reminded of some fairy tale extravaganza. Models wearing rich gowns walked on water. Kendall Jenner, Karl Lagerfeld's muse, opened the show.
This idea of looking those girls moving on water in this beautiful Fontana di Trevi with these incredible pieces, each one like a masterpiece, was really something unique and special.
An amazing experience. I mean, the backdrop is the Fontana di Trevi, so I think it's going to be an amazing experience, not only for the clothes, but also for the setup.
Tonight was magic, because it's just behind the Fontana di Trevi, and every single piece is kind of piece of art.
Happy birthday, Fendi.
Anniversary celebrations. Fendi Roma, Artisans of Dreams, a large-scale exhibition, has opened in Rome. The main themes of the exhibition include the art of dressmaking and design, innovation, modern art and boundless fantasy. 8 thematic halls reveal the secrets of Fendi craftsmanship.
It's about artisan and craftsmanship, because that's the base of our success, and that's dedicated to them, to the hands of people you don't see. But the name of the exhibition is The Artisan of Dream, because they make dreams come true.
Karl Lagerfeld, the most inexhaustible designer of our time, works non-stop. His day seems to have more than 24 hours. The maestro cannot satisfy his creative hunger just by designing collections for Fendi and Chanel. Karl manages to photograph as well. In the course of his innumerous trips to Rome, Karl has taken many photos of the Eternal City and its iconic locations, enough for a proper exhibition. No fairy tales, that's what Karl Lagerfeld said about his new collection for Fendi. All the outfits presented on the runway can and should be worn. Karl suggests some tweed jackets and large chiffon gowns for the next fall.
Everyone loves Fendi. Fendi's beautiful, it's gorgeous. The clothes are like, they're cool and they're modern and they're really creative, and I mean, Karl's amazing. It's original creativity. It's very Italian. I love it.
I'm wearing this beautiful black dress with flowers and little sheer through. I think it's one of the most amazing from the whole collection.
Considering the outerwear, fitted coat and trench coat of the color of the red sealing wax are a great option, one just cannot resist this noble shade.
This show was incredibly beautiful.
Fendi Fashion House resembles an empire, a modern fashion empire. Bravo, bravissimo.